जय श्रील प्रभुपाद नाना शास्त्र विचारणैक निपुणौ सद्धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पादारविंद भजना आनंदेन मत्तालिकौ वंदे रूप सनातनौ रघुजुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ. Continuing our segments on sound education, we have rounded up with the explanation of sound and at its 4 levels and its different effects on the listener. Now we are amidst defining what is education within brackets real. From the Itihasa Puranas, epics and Vedic lore, we find out that there was a very perfect educational system prevalent in the ancient times, which was generally known as Vaidika Vidya or Vedic system of education. In other words, the ancient system of education in Bharatavarsha, especially Bharatakanda, the system of education was based on the Vedas. Therefore, it's given the name Vedic educational system. Vedas, they occupy a very important place in the Indian life. According to the history that we find from Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the different recordings of history in the Upanishads and the different kavyas by well-known poets. Most of them had experience of mystic travel to the different planetary systems apart from where they were, Bhur, Bhuva and Swa. The basis of ancient Indian culture lies in the Vedas, generally known as 4. Originally there was only one Veda, and whenever Vyasa comes, Vyasa is a repeated incarnation, Shakti Avesha incarnation for compiling the Vedic literature. And whenever Vyasa appears, he takes the one bulk Vedas and divides them according to utility. Thus they are known as Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Some scholars have subdivided Vedic education period into Rigvedic period, Brahmana period, Upanishad period, Sutra period, Smriti period, etc. But that's only lack of knowledge. Because Vedas are eternal, they don't have a particular period. Maybe certain part of the Vedas were not prominently taught and learned for a particular period of time. And that kind of some meter or say some itihasa becoming extinct is due to the lack of capacity of the audience. Just like at the time of Mahabharata, before Vyasa started compiling the Vedic literature and writing them through his disciples, people learnt everything by hearing. Their capacity was different. We are talking about the beginning and middle of Dwapara Yuga. Teacher will say something and then the student will hear, and he had such good memory that he can repeat it immediately. If not by hearing once, sometime hearing 3 times, sometime hearing 9 times. These are different methods for memorizing. And the Vedic education was not evolving in the process of history. Rather, part of it was yoganashtaha parantapa. According to Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam imam rajarishyo vidhu sakaleneha mahata yoganashta parantapa. There is a famous saying, Swadeshe pujyate raja vidvan sarvatra pujyate. A king is respected only in his own territory, whereas a learned person is respected in all kingdoms. The basic education was aiming at making the student understand the eternal truth, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And totally 32 different categories of Vidya are found. Vidya means education. 32 categories are found, and these categories may have within themselves some departments according to which part of Vedic literature is being taught. And Brahma Vidya is a path of contemplative meditation taught in the Upanishads. The passage of time has largely obscured the nature and culture of this kind of meditations, and subsequent discussions of them are largely academic, drawing on the texts and their subsequent treatment in the Brahma Sutras. Now you have Vedas, at the tail end of it you have got Vedanta, Upanishads, and you have 6 systems of philosophy in proving from the same Upanishads what could be Brahman. Means from where everything comes from, on which everything is standing, into what everything goes into. Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they deal with the atoms. Sankhya and Yoga, they deal with the Prakriti, material nature and consciousness. And Purvamimamsa deals with karma as the source of everything. And Uttaramimamsa or Vyasa, in his Brahma Sutras, Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Rishibir Bhaguta Gitam Chandobi Vividai Prutak Brahma Sutra Padascheva Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai. The cause and the effect has been very clearly established in the text of the Brahma Sutras. And Krishna himself says that Vedascha Sarvair Ahameva Vedya Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chaham. I am the Vedanta Krita. I am the person who compiled the Vedanta. In other words, Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Sutras. So we already went through the 32 Vidyas as much as we could squeeze from the different Upanishads, where it is distinctly, clearly pronounced that this is this Vidya, this is this Vidya, etc. And then, just like Bhagavad Gita, Vyasa, as he finishes a chapter, he says, Iti Sri Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Sastre Krishna Arjuna Samvade. So it seems that within the Vidya there are many Shastras. It could be a yoga sastra, it could be a karma sastra, it could be a kala sastra, it could be a nataka sastra. These are all subdivisional parts and parcels of the Brahma Vidya. In the Chandogya Upanishad, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, texts 1 and 2, where the student Uddalaka, the teacher Uddalaka, instructs Svetaketu on the nature of Sat or Brahman. That's why this is known as Satvidya. In the beginning, O son, this was mere existence, one only without a second. Regarding this, some others say at first this was mere non-existence, one alone without a second. From that non-existence proceeds existence. But verily, O son, how can this be? How can existence come from non-existence? Hence, my dear son, this was existence only in the beginning, one alone without a second. From non-existence, existence cannot come out, for even non-existence is an existence, a being. As regards the sentence in the Taittiriya Upanishad, which says that existence came from non-existence, it is explained that here non-existent refers to the state of avyaktam, means to the audience it was not existing, where the manifold world does not exist and from which the existence of the world is evolved. Meditation on Satvidya enables one to assert the reality of the Sat aspect of the Absolute. There is Chit aspect, there is Ananda aspect also, whose essential nature is Chit and Ananda. In continuation of this Uddalaka, Uddalaka asserts the great dictum of identity, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that, Tvam means you or thou, Asi means are. Thou art that. Number 2, Bhuma Vidya. This way, a little bit on each Vidya we will see in this serial, and that's education. And we did see what is sound. If you put sound and education together, that is sound education.